News when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Monica Ricks. Vice President J.D. Vance is in Pakistan now, leading a U.S. delegation in high-stakes ceasefire talks with Iran. Bloomberg's Pakistan bureau chief, Fasi Mungi, is there.
Pakistan is on a diplomatic high right now. It has good relations with everyone. It doesn't have an American base as well, and that makes it acceptable for Iranians to come and have a discussion as well.
Bloomberg's Fasi Mungi on Bloomberg This Weekend. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner are with Vance for negotiations, and President Trump has already warned that the U.S. will resume military action with more intensity if a deal isn't reached. Meantime, attacks continue in the Middle East. Earlier today, the Israeli army confirmed it's carried out more than 200 strikes against Hezbollah targets in Lebanon over the past 24 hours. The Lebanese militant group has also continued its own strikes across the border. And now U.S. intelligence indicates that China is preparing to provide Iran with air defense systems in a matter of weeks. CNN reports Beijing is expected to ship surface-to-air missiles known as man-portable air defense systems to Iran, which can be operated by one person and are easy to transport, conceal, and use. But a spokesperson for the Chinese embassy in Washington has denied those allegations, saying China has never provided weapons to any party to the conflict. Traffic remains at a relative standstill in the Strait of Hormuz as peace talks get underway, but the United Nations says it's ready to move ships the second it gets the green light via ceasefire. Arsenio Dominguez is Secretary General of the UN's International Maritime Organization.
There has been a couple of days, 6 or around 10 transits, but there's still not the numbers of 130 transits a day. So the reality is that the situations for the seafarers continues to be quite dire in the area.
IMO Secretary General Arsenio Dominguez on Bloomberg This Weekend. He says the UN's also working on getting confirmation of possible mines in the strait, but says that can't be done safely till the conflict ends. It may be tough to believe given the war in Iran, but Wall Street seems to be on a big win streak. Bloomberg's Andrew O'Day explains.
The S&P 500 has risen 7 trading days in a row, with the latest wins coming amid hope a ceasefire holds as U.S., Iran, and Israel-Lebanon talks approach. Helping determine whether the market gains keep coming will be any sign of progress in reopening shipping traffic through the Strait of Hormuz for any vessels other than those pre-approved by Iran, even as Saudi Arabia says oil production capacity has been cut by nearly 600,000 barrels a day due to a spate of attacks on energy facilities, pipelines, and refineries on top of the ongoing disruption to its exports through the Strait of Hormuz. Andrew O'Day, Bloomberg Radio.
Nationwide, AAA says a gallon of regular gas has shot up by $1.17 since the war started. That's a 40% spike in costs, and that added to a big jump in inflation last month. The biggest one-month increase in 4 years, up 0.9% from February, up 3.3% year over year. The Federal Reserve is now asking major U.S. banks for details about their exposure to private credit. Here's Bloomberg's Ed Kalegi.
It follows a surge in redemptions from the funds and a rise in troubled loans in the industry. The queries by Fed examiners are intended to assess the level of stress in the private credit industry and the potential for it to spill over to the wider financial system. The central bank has been seeking details on the debt private credit funds have taken on from banks. In good times, that debt can juice returns and make private credit funds more enticing. In bad times, it risks exposing banks to losses. Ed Kalegi, Bloomberg Radio.
Meantime, Anthropic delayed the full release of its new AI model Mythos this week because the company says it may be too dangerous for the public. Wall Street banks, including JP Morgan Chase, are testing it internally now to detect vulnerabilities. But there's concern among federal regulators about the risk of cyber attacks to the financial industry and the potential to exploit weaknesses. Democratic Congressman Eric Swalwell is denying allegations of sexual misconduct against a former staffer and 3 other women as calls for him to drop out of the California governor's race grow. He posted this video to X last night.
I do not suggest to you in any way that I'm perfect or that I'm a saint. I have certainly made mistakes in judgment in my past, but those mistakes are between me and my wife. And to her, I apologize deeply for putting her in this position.
Up until now, Swalwell has been a top polling Democrat in that race.
Splashdown confirmed.
The crew of Artemis 2 is back on Earth after completing a 9-day journey that included a trip around the moon. NASA says the 4 astronauts are safe and healthy and have now set the stage for Artemis 3, which is the next step to put people back on the moon. And Rory McIlroy heads into round 3 today at the Masters with a 6-shot lead after setting a tournament record yesterday for the largest 36-hole lead. McIlroy had 6 birdies over his final 7 holes, including a chip-in from 30 yards on the 17th hole. The reigning champs now at 12 under 132, again 6 shots clear of Patrick Reed and Sam Burns. And that's news when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Monica Ricks, and this is Bloomberg.